Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that many of us can relate to, which is working from home. So while it might seem like a dream come true for some, for others it can be a real nightmare. And in this video, I'm going to share my personal experience of how working from home ruined my life and share some tips on how to avoid falling into the same trap. Now, I say ruin my life, I kind of mean in a good way though. So let's get started. Let's avoid all these traps so that you can have a good experience with it too. The first part is there's a severe lack of boundaries. One of the biggest challenges of working from home is the lack of boundaries between work and personal life. Without the clear distinction, it can be easy to become overworked and absolutely burned out. This can lead to feelings of stress, anxiety, and fatigue. When you're in an office, it's easy to leave work at the office and disconnect from the workday. But when you work from home, the office is always there. This is always here. And the temptation to keep working can be overwhelming, especially with friends and family here. Working from home can also make it difficult to establish a work-life balance. Without that clear separation between work and home, it can be easy to blur the lines and work longer hours than you would in an office. This can lead to neglecting the other important aspects of your life, like family, friends, and hobbies. Without a balance, it can become all-consuming and can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction, especially when things are tough. To avoid falling into this trap, it's important to establish clear boundaries and set specific working hours. This can include setting a specific time to start and end work, taking regular breaks, and disconnecting from work-related tasks after hours. I'm guilty of that. It's important to communicate with your colleagues and your friends about your working hours so they know when you're available and when you're not. On top of that, having a designated workspace can help you to mentally separate work and personal life. This way, when you leave the workspace, you're leaving work behind and you're entering your personal life. Now, I'm totally guilty of that, but the second bad part of it is the isolation. Working from home can also lead to a lot of feelings of isolation and disconnection from colleagues and friends. When you're working in an office, it's very easy to connect with your colleagues and build relationships with them. But when you're working from home, the lack of face-to-face interaction can make it difficult, very difficult, to maintain any kind of relationships. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and can negatively impact your mental health and definitely well-being. I know I've been through this quite a bit. Another aspect of isolation is the lack of social interaction. It can also lead to feeling disconnected from people. When working in an office, it's very easy to feel a sense of belonging and to be involved in the vision and values of a company that you work for. But when you work from home, it can be hard to feel connected with a company or your goals. This can lead to feeling less motivated, less engaged, and can negatively impact your productivity big time. To combat these feelings of isolation and disconnection, it's important to stay connected with your colleagues and your friends. That can mean setting up regular video calls or virtual meetings, participating in virtual team building activities, or even just sending out a quick message to check in with someone. I know for me personally, I have 2 group chats going on with a couple different sets of friends, and we just, hang out online a little bit. We'll be watching a game, we'll text back and forth, we'll find something funny, we'll send it to each other. That's how we stay connected, and that helps me to avoid the isolation as well. On top of that, you want to make sure to keep an open line of communication with your friends and family and try to get involved in a lot of initiatives that maybe you wouldn't. It's important to take the time to stay connected with friends and family. Maintaining these relationships can definitely provide the emotional support and help to counteract those feelings of loneliness that you're probably going to go through. And they don't really go away. You just learn to deal with them. The third thing is distractions. This is a huge challenge of working from home because the potential distractions are there. The distractions of home life, like household chores and family members, can make it difficult to stay focused and productive. It's very easy to get sidetracked by household tasks or to get interrupted by family members while working. Here in my office, I have a rule that if I'm typing on my keyboard, don't talk to me. Let me finish my email, let me finish my thought. When you don't hear the tap, 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 then you can come in. Okay, the reason being interruptions and starting and stopping and starting and stopping, it's very difficult to do for somebody who works at home. And I don't think the people who don't work at home fully understand that. So that can lead to decreased productivity and can make it difficult to complete work on time. On top of that, the comfortable environment of home can also be a big time distraction in itself, making it difficult to stay motivated and focus on work. The distractions can come from the internet with easy access to social media, online games, and other activities. It can be easy to get pulled into a rabbit hole of distractions. This can lead to procrastination and a severe lack of productivity. On top of that, this constant availability of the internet can lead to multitasking and the inability to focus on one task for long periods of time. That can negatively impact the quality of work. Like for me personally, when I'm shooting a video, I want to do my script, shoot the video, edit the video, create the thumbnails, get it posted, all in one shot. Otherwise, I'll lose where was I? What step was I at? Because I get distracted. So I've learned how to deal with that, just to do things in big segments, and it works a little bit better for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, but to avoid distractions, it's important to establish a routine and stick to it. That can include setting specific working hours, taking breaks, and having that designated workplace where it's free from distractions. Additionally, it can be real helpful to turn off notifications and limit access to social media and other distracting websites while working. It's also very important to communicate with family members and housemates and friends about your working hours so they know when you're working and when you're not, and to respect your working hours. The worst part of working at home that I found when I first started doing it was my wife would be like, well, can you go do this during the day? And I'd be like, well, I'm working. Well, but you're at home, you can do it. Or my mom would be like, hey, can you come on over and help me with this? And I'd be like, but I'm working. She'd be like, yeah, but you work from home. You can work anytime. You can come do this now. And you have to really train them that, yes, I work at home, but that doesn't mean I'm available to you 24/7. I need to set those boundaries. So I think them respecting that has helped, and setting up a schedule and definitely priorities for the day can help to stay focused and productive. The fourth kind of downside is a difficulty disconnecting. So this is a huge challenge of working from home. It's the difficulty of disconnecting from your work, turning your brain off. The lines between work and home become very blurred. It makes it harder to switch off and relax at the end of the day. This can lead to feelings of stress and a lot of anxiety, as work-related thoughts and tasks always occupy your mind, even when you're not working. The constant access to work-related tools and communication can make it very difficult to disconnect from work, and can lead to feeling like you're always on call. You're like a doctor, always on call. So working from home can also blur the lines between your personal time and your work time, which can make it hard to establish healthy boundaries and can lead to overworking. That can also lead to neglecting other important aspects of your life, like family, friends, and hobbies. And when you work from home, it can be difficult to disconnect from work, and it can be hard to separate work-related thoughts from personal thoughts, which can lead to feelings of just being plain old burnt out. So to avoid falling into that trap, I think it's very important to establish those clear boundaries, set specific working hours, and including setting a specific time to start and end work, take those regular breaks, and disconnecting from work-related tasks after hours. You also have to communicate with your colleagues, managers, friends, and families about your working hours so they know when you're available and when you're not. On top of that, it's important to have a dedicated time to relax. Okay, for me, during the basketball season, my dedicated time to relax is when the game's on. So I'm going to watch that game. I'm going to completely zone out, and that's my well, one of my happy places is right there. Excuse me. You can also look at hobbies or spending times with family and friends. You want to make sure to disconnect from work-related tools and communication during your non-working hours. This can help you to switch off and relax. There's nothing worse than just sitting there on the couch trying to watch a game, whip out your phone, and you're like, oh, this email, well, maybe I'll just respond to this right away while I'm watching the game. Now you're working when you should be enjoying your off time, but you don't enjoy your off time because you're working, and it just, your mind is like, it never shuts off. So that's not good. The fifth downside that I found is a very difficult one to overcome that I'm working on hard right now is the number 5, which is it's a decrease in physical activity. So this is a huge challenge of working from home is that decrease. So without the commute to the office and the office environment, it can be easy to become sedentary and neglect physical health. So when you're sitting for long periods of time, that can lead to a host of health problems like back pain, weight gain, increased risk of heart disease, and the lack of a structured workday can lead to neglecting regular exercise and physical activity. The sedentary lifestyle that comes from working from home can also lead to a lack of energy and a lack of motivation. The lack of movement and physical activity can lead to feeling sluggish and tired and can negatively impact your productivity and your mental well-being. So on top of that, when you work from home, you have less opportunities to move around and stretch, which can lead to discomfort and pain in the long term. To combat that decrease in physical activity, you have to establish a routine that includes regular exercise and physical activity. So this can include taking regular breaks throughout the day to move around, stretching, and doing some exercises. So what I do now is 3 times a day I'll lift weights, and 3 times a day, yeah, right. 3 times a week I'll lift weights. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll go down to my home gym and I'll lift weights. Even better is buy a membership at a gym and physically leave your house and go to the gym 3 times a week. I used to do that before the pandemic. Then I bought all this funky like exercise equipment. So I'm like, well, now I got to use it. But really my mental health is better when I leave and I go somewhere and I interact with people at the gym. So 3 times a week I do that. 2 times a week I spend 30 minutes on the treadmill. So that's Tuesday and Thursday for me. 30 minutes on the treadmill so I get my cardio in. So I found that helps me a lot because it helps your joints, helps you feel better mentally and physically. So you want to set like a specific time for the workout, and like maybe you can go for a walk during lunch if you don't want to go hardcore. Additionally, consider setting up a standing or treadmill desk. A lot of guys do that, and gals. Use a stability ball as a chair. It's also important to make a conscious effort to move more throughout the day. So, for example, take the stairs instead of the elevator when going for a walk or during lunch. By including regular physical activity in your daily routine, you can help to maintain your physical and mental well-being while working from home. So, excuse me. Thank you very much for watching my video on how working from home ruined my life. It didn't really ruin my life, but I hope my story and tips have helped you to understand the potential downsides of working from home and how to avoid them. One thing I didn't really talk about was the Christmas party at the end of the year. When I worked a part-time job, I was in a movie theater and we had this Christmas party and it was for the whole mall and everybody went and it was awesome. We had a good time. There was drinks and dining and dancing and everything, and it was wonderful. We all look forward to that once a year. Or the Christmas party, like my wife's a teacher, they have Christmas parties that they go to. My Christmas party is me. It's just, I'm the only one there. So that is not a good thing. But I mean, overall, working from home, it's not all bad. I don't think even after all these negatives, I would trade working from home for anything. I'm basically unemployable now. I've gotten used to it over the past 16 years. It's not easy, but it can be very, very, very rewarding too. Now, with the pandemic, a lot of people found themselves working at home. And for me, it was the exact opposite of the rest of the world because I've always worked at home. This is year 16 for me of working at home. All of a sudden, I have all these, my spouse and my kids in my workspace all the time. And I never had a time to just focus and be productive for like 2 years. And that can really drain you. So I don't know. I think working from home is a great thing, honestly. There are downsides that I did want to cover because nothing is all perfect ever. And all you ever hear about online is all the perfect stuff. So If you found this video helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Take care, and I hope that you stay safe. Have a great day.